The Celestial Guardians will be bringing 2 new confirmed card packs to Pokemon Pocket on April 30th, featuring Gallo EX and Lunala EX as the face cards, and more importantly, packing Rare Candy as a powerful new item card. Let's go ahead and dive on into a review of the cards that we have confirmed coming so far. Normally, I'd start by reviewing the EX Pokemon in the set, but the biggest news in this release so far is that Rare Candy is coming to Pocket as a regular item card, just like in the paper Pokemon game. This card, for those not familiar, lets you skip your stage 1, evolving a basic directly into the stage 2. This lets you get to that stage 2 on the field 1 turn sooner, which is really useful if it has a powerful Pokemon ability or if it has a 2 energy attack while going second. And obviously, it's going to add consistency to all of your stage 2 decks because it's effectively a stage 1 for every Pokemon in your deck, in addition to letting you get there faster. This card also has some interesting repercussions alongside Pokemon communication, because I'd imagine you probably still want to play some amount of stage 1s in your deck, but in hands where you'll have both Rare Candy and the stage 1 now, you'll be able to communicate that stage 1 back into your deck, digging for the stage 2. Alright, speaking of stage 2, let's go ahead and talk about the sweet new EXs we have confirmed next. Let's kick things off with Gallo, 180 HP stage 2 that does a whopping 120 damage for just 2 energy with a nominal amount of recoil, dealing 10 to itself, and its Rising Road ability allows you to switch it in with your active Pokemon for free. This Pokemon ability is really powerful on a stage 2 because it means you could lead something like a Druddigon or even a Snorlax, letting it take hits while you set up a full health Solgaleo in the background, and then as soon as your Solgaleo comes together and has the energy on it, you can move it to the active and start cracking for a ton of damage right away. Speaking of dealing damage right away, with the addition of Rare Candy to the game, Gallo EX is a card that has the potential to be both good when going first, i.e. you hit its stage 1 and then stage 2 organically, you attach your second energy, you hit for 120, but it'll also be good when going second with Rare Candy because you'll get to evolve into a stage 2 on your second turn, attach your second energy to it, and start hitting for 120 right away. As someone who was a Starmie EX enjoyer in previous metagames, because it felt really good to start hitting for 90 on turn 2, getting to start hitting for 120, especially when you can set this up again behind a different stalling lead so it always comes out with full health, seems like a really powerful thing to be doing. Our second stage 2 is Lunala EX, 180 HP again, whose Lunar Blast attack does 100 damage for 3 energy. We have the Pokemon ability here. Once during your turn, you may move all Psychic energy from one of your bench Psychic Pokemon to your active one. This effect is obviously going to be very powerful with our current metagame powerhouse Giratina, who currently only powers itself up every turn, but in tandem with Lunala, this means that you're going to be able to power up this as well. A noteworthy call out here is that Lunala only needs a singular psychic energy in order to attack, meaning in theory, you could splash Lunala EX and Giratina EX together in any deck in Pokemon Pocket if there's another typing that would give you good utility to pair with them. Using this card in tandem with Rare Candy and Giratina also means that you're going to be able to set up some incredibly aggressive starts where you're generating extra energy with Tina and then jumping up to this stage 2 right away and start cracking for 100 damage every turn ASAP. Our third confirmed EX in these packs is Aloan Raichu EX, 140 HP with a triple colorless attack that deals 60 damage plus 30 more for each energy on your opponent's active Pokemon. This means if there's 3 energy on your opponent's active, this is going to be cracking for a whopping 150 per turn, which lines up pretty well into a variety of things in our current metagame, but I think it is a noteworthy call out. If we expect Solgaleo to be a primary threat running around, it's only going to deal 120 damage there, since that card only needs a 2 energy attack. That being said, I wouldn't be surprised if this card is super reasonable. It's noteworthy that it evolves from just regular Pikachu, not Pikachu EX, so we can pair this with any of the Pikachus from the current pack. It's also a triple colorless card, so this is technically a splashable card that you can be evolving into anywhere should you need an answer to Pokemon that have lots of energy attached to them. Up next, we have an Aloan Marowak, 110 HP stage 1, whose Burning Boomerang does 70 damage for each heads on 2 coins that you flip, and if you flip at least 1 heads, you burn the opponent's Pokemon, meaning they take 20 damage more guaranteed, and then they can flip a coin to recover. If they hit heads, they heal it away, but if they hit tails, they threaten to take 20 again the following turn if they don't retreat. Now, at face value, this card doesn't seem particularly good with the 3 energy attack, but we get to factor in the context of a new spoiled supporter, Kawaii, who says, choose one of your Alolan Marowak or Turtonator, take 2 fire energy from your energy zone and attach it to this Pokemon, then your turn ends. So this is obviously a way to directly accelerate energy onto this Alolan Marowak, and the energy typing that this Marowak requires is 2 fire and a singular colorless, meaning if you're playing the supporter with this card, like I bet you always will, you could technically play this alongside the fighting Marowak, or even just a different color deck altogether, since your supporter card is going to be providing all of the fire energy that you need. In a way, this is a colorless attacker, so long as you have the deck slots to support it. Speaking of supporters, we got a range of those spoiled that have some interesting and potentially powerful designs, but they all key into specific Pokemon that we don't know the text of yet, so it's hard to know exactly how powerful they're going to be. The most potent of these potentially is Arcarola. It says choose one of your Pasoland or Mimikyu that has damage on it, move 40 of its damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So this is not only a heal, but also a massive damage deal outside of the attack step. Seems incredibly powerful if either of the cards you're moving damage off of are remotely playable. Speaking of healing, we also have Malo that says heal all damage from one of your Shiinotic or Serena. If you do, discard all energy from that Pokemon. We have Scoliosis, who does plus 30 damage to a few different Pokemon that I'm not going to try and pronounce, and some whose names are blocked out because of how these cards were spoiled. We have Lunala, whose literally boss's orders, switch one of your opponent's benched Pokemon to the active spot, a very powerful effect, but it comes with the asterisk, you can only use this card if you have an Araquand in play. If Araquand is remotely playable, you would definitely want access to Lunala's effect, as it's very strong. Next up is Lima. Put one of your colorless Pokemon that has damage on it back into your hand. I could see this being very potent alongside Snorlax and Berry, perhaps, allowing you to stall with a massive HP lead and then pick it up back to your hand before your opponent can claim a point. This, alongside something with a high retreat cost Pokemon like Snorlax, also effectively makes it a free retreat as well, once whatever you're setting up behind it is ready to slide up to the front. Finally, we have an incredibly powerful Stage 2 supporter. Lily heals 60 damage from one of your Stage 2 Pokemon. This seems like it'll have application, obviously, with Solgaleo, who's going to be dealing damage to itself, but also could have reverberating repercussions with other existing Stage 2s we've had that have been playable in the past, such as Charizard and Blastoise. Next up, we have an Orio? A 70 HP Psychic Basic that for 1 energy does 20 damage, but it has a revenge style trigger of dealing 60 extra damage if one of your Pokemon was knocked out by damage from an attack on your opponent's previous turn. We also have Oricorio, a 70 HP Basic that for 2 Psychic Energy does 40 damage while confusing your opponent's active Pokemon. Past these, we got spoilers for things like Alolan Meowth and Alolan Vulpix and the new basics for our round of starters, but the context of how useful or relevant these are is really kind of useless without knowing what their potential evolutions will be doing once we get a fuller card list. Last, but certainly not least, we also got a spoiler for a Rayquaza EX, 140 HP colorless basic that has a 4 colorless energy Draco Meteor attack. It's basically identical to Dragonite's Draco Meteor, except it does 40 damage per hit instead of 50. This being all colorless is a big deal. It means there's a variety of ways that you can accelerate extra energy onto this, whether it's a Manaphy payoff or a Dialga payoff, or if it's even good enough at all will remain to be seen. I want to call out that we don't currently know at this juncture if this is going to be one of the EXs in the new booster packs coming up, because it was shared as one of the promo cards for the 6-month anniversary event for Pokemon Pocket's release. So presumably everyone's going to get a copy of this card for free-ish, I would assume, maybe from event participation, but the details on exactly how that's going to work are a little hazy as of right now. A lot of people asked for it, and it's finally here. With rare candy coming for Pokemon Pocket, we might finally be getting out of the era of powerful basic EX Pokemon dominating everything, but will our Stage 2 Overlords simply be taking their place? It's going to be interesting to see how things play out. Will we maybe have finally an even balance between these two very different types of cards? Or is there always going to have to be one of them that's at the forefront? I would love to hear in the comments down below what your thoughts on this card packs releasing are. I'm optimistic about the designs of the cards, but if I'm being honest, I'm also a little bit apprehensive about the fact that it looks like we're having 2 card packs and likely 10 plus EX Pokemon releasing after we just had 9 EX Pokemon release ago. I think I'm definitely going to have to sit down and do a deep dive on how the economy of this game is going to be shaping up if they're going to be cranking out this many cards this quickly. If you enjoyed my musings on these new cards today, be sure to smash the like button on this video to help it reach more people. If you happen to be new here and you enjoy the very analytical approach to how I review things, consider subscribing to the channel and coming back again. We're going to be breaking down all of the tournament data and my own experience playing with these cards once they release next week. I appreciate everybody that made it all the way to the end of today's video, and I hope your next pack is an excellent one.